Hello there, my name is Marcus and welcome to Tabletop Reviews, where today I'm bringing you the first review of 2024. Coming, what, the fucking 6th or 7th of February? It's the 7th today, so 7th of February. Great. I'm actually bringing you a double today, because I'm bringing you two small card games that we recently got me and my wife. Uno Flex and Uno All Wild. Two new variations of Uno. I don't know when Flex was released. It's very new, I haven't heard about it before. Uno All Wild is a while since I heard about it. So, when it's exactly released, I don't know, maybe it says on the back, does it? I don't care. Doesn't matter when they're released. I like Uno just fine. And this is just two fun variations. So let's have a look at real quick how they're set up and let's talk about them. Alright, let's not faff about all too much. This is Uno after all. Let's start with All Wild because it plays the same as exactly the same as regular Uno. You shuffle them up. Let's just pretend I did that. Every player gets 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. The pass put in the bag here and flipped over. And then you basically play the holy crap, that's a bad hand. Yeah. But let me just give you some example of cards here. So this is a targeted +2. Normally it would go to the next person. They would have to draw 2 cards. But this one you can choose the person to draw 2 cards. With this one, it's the next person. This one changes direction, so it's going this way. Oh, now it's going this way. Skip the next person, and this one forces players to swap hands, and you decide who swaps hands. Target +2, skip, and you have a regular as +4. It gives the next person 4 cards and skips their turn. That's important. And there's this one interesting one, double skip. Skip the next 2 people. It's interesting when you play 2 players actually, because then you actually skip yourself as well, because then you become the next person. So it's not very good in a 2-player game. But don't play Uno 2 players. Right, I believe that's all the cards. But yeah, basically then you play these cards, utilize the action, and of course the first person to get to 0 cards win. You have to remember to yell out Uno when you only have 1 card left. If you didn't know, that is the Spanish word for 1. And if you don't do it, someone can call you out, you have to draw 2 cards. Alright. Uno Flex, change up the rules a little bit. So each player gets this card. It starts on the green side, not the red side, the green side. Let's put it down here for you and put this to the side just to showcase it. And I don't know why I'm shuffling. Anyways, you start with again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cards, and this one is flipped over. It's 3. So in this one, there are a few special things. So there are these cards here. This one is a yellow and a blue. So if this card was a blue, let's say it was a blue, I could flip this card over to place this one because it's blue down here. I utilize that, and at the same time change it to yellow. I could do that. Now to flip this one back over, I could actually play this 3 because it has this symbol right here. So play that, and that allows me to flip it over. There's also a wild card that allows you to flip all of them over. Now every single special card, I've got 2 wild cards here, has its primary function, which is skip or switch directions, or +2 or +4 or wild. But every single one of them also have this one, the flex side, that's what they're called. Again, you have to flip this one to utilize them. And it does something different. So this one is a +4 or targeted +4. You choose who gets 4. This one is a wild, or everybody draws 2. Right. So all of them has an alternative effect of the power cards that changes up the game a little bit. Again, same rules. If you get to 1 card, you say Uno. If you don't, you draw 2 cards. And the first person to get rid of all the cards win. That is the shortest game overview ever. Let's get back to the table. So that is the setup, and of course how to play the games. They're very similar to Uno, incredibly similar actually. Start off with All Wild, because that is basically Uno, but it's only wild in there. So I believe I rate Uno like a 5, and which is also what I'm going to give all wild. I'm also just going to give it a 5. Because the wild stuff just... Actually, I'm going to give it a 4. I'm going to bump it down. Because I still like it, I still want to play it. We're going to bring it and see if some people want to play it, you know. But the thing is that the all wild part, it creates something where it's... You just play constantly, you know. And sure, there's some different ones that are interesting, the targeted +2 or the switch hands to switch it up a little bit. But other than that, I think it's a little bit worse than Uno, because in Uno at least there is something about like, when do I for my wild, like do I bet hard on this green stuff and just get rid of it, you know, how am I going to play the cards? There is something there, right? A little bit, but in this one there is nothing. There is the tactic of going with the special cards, or just going with the wild card, regular wild cards. I've tried both currently in the playing games. They both have the same result. Luck determines it. Luck determines an Uno as well. But in this one there is nothing with like, you know, when you play down a wild, which color should I choose? Like you're sitting with one, which color? Oh, because that creates a very, very fun moment where it's like, green, fuck. And it's like this very fun moment of like, I chose correctly. And sure, it means nothing because then, you know, somebody else has 2 green 7s and it's over anyways. But that's also kind of funny. It creates these funny situations. And this one, it's not really. Like, the switching hand just doesn't show up enough for it to affect anything. You have the double skip, which is interesting again, only if you have more than 2. Regular skips and regular switch around this, and the targeted +2 is also kind of interesting, you know. These two are interesting additions, but you lack that moment where a draw 2 or +4 whatever really has an impact, or the wild really has an impact, because it's all wilds. So I'm going to give it a 4. And I think that's the longest review you're going to see of Uno. Anyways, Uno Flex obviously takes again regular Uno and adds the flex element, where you have some cards that are double-sided, and then of course some cards to flip it over. It also has every single one of the special cards has 2 sides and are capable of doing multiple things. That part I love. You know, if it was only that part that was involved, this would be a better version of Uno. But you also had those cards that color, like 2 colors. I don't know what I think about that. Listen, the wild stuff is very good. I think the only one is the, I can't remember if it's the reverse or the skip. But one of them is like, I think it's a skip that is also, if you use the other side, a skip and a reverse. All the other cards have that in common, that they are something different, right? You choose a power. And that just adds a tiny little element, which I think is really funny. And then you have the limited use, which is decently interesting. But that thing of like choosing which one would be the best one to choose right now. You have the targeted +2, you have everybody draws a +1, or it is a wild, or it is whatever. What to do? And of course one of the wilds is everybody flips this one over. And I think that is a brilliant usage of 2 elements of the game. You have this one, and then you might be the only one sitting with it on the green side. Everybody else, or at least some of the other ones, have it on the red side. So do you choose to draw, or do you choose to play this card? There's a little bit of that. It's a little bit of synergy. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna sit there and and 5 minutes later you finally play. It's probably gonna be, you know, I'm just gonna play it, or whatever. It's not going to be that difficult of a choice, really. But it just adds a little bit of synergy, so to say, in the elements of the game. I really like that. The wild cards and this one incorporated are really good. I really think it's a great addition to Uno. Then we have the multiple colored cards, and I don't know what I think about those. So on one hand, it is interesting, because all of a sudden that moment where you say green and you're like, oh, I've got a green. It's there. And then of course you have the usage of this one card to be in there. So that is interesting, and it can be like oh, you thought you got me, but I got you. But but I'm a little bit twisted on it, because at the same time it's like, it's a cheat code, because as I said, the power cards are like an interesting choice of like which one you choose. This one is just like, oh, well, I probably should use it then. The only reason I can see you not using it is if you don't have one of the flip cards to get it back over, or if you have like a power card to use that would like be way better. Other than that, I don't really see the purpose of them. It is, of course, it creates funny situations, which I think is the most important thing in Uno, is to create funny situations. But the thing itself, I don't know. But I am going to give it a 6. I believe I gave Uno a regular 5, and I just like this way better. I would rather play Uno Flex. Don't remember what I gave Uno Flip. I think I gave Dust like a 2 or a 3. But yeah, definitely my favorite version of Uno so far is Uno Flex. And you have regular Uno, then Uno Flip, then Uno All Wild, and then Dos. I think that would be my list. You count Uno 99, I wouldn't count, but it would be like maybe above All Wild, maybe below, I don't know. But definitely my favorite version of Uno Flex. So my favorite version and a more meh version, but there is still fun. Like it's still Uno, which is, I like Uno. A lot of people will probably diss on Uno or something, but I like Uno. It's a simple, short, fast card game with some interesting stuff. The base Uno is nice, and these versions that just add a little bit to it. It's like Tickers Rides. You take a base game that is well worked and you add a little bit to it. So therefore, I'm going to bring down, I believe it's up here. Yes, it is. There's all kinds of stuff on top of it, and I just... That did not go well. The Wingspan card box, as I'm going to put them in here. The other one is completely filled, so I have room for one more Uno card. I don't know, is phase 10 in Uno? I don't know. But I have another box of Uno games soon ready. Man, I have way too many Uno games. I actually also have the yellow one, don't I? Where the heck is the... Oh, it's in the box still. So I have room for 4 more Uno variants. I don't even know if they've made that many. Anyways, that's more Uno cards. They're nice, they're cheap, and they're fast and they're fun. Like, we played 4 games in 10 minutes or so. You know, 2 of each. Incredibly fast. But that's another video here. I promise next one is going to be a little bit more heavy, a little bit more in depth, as I'm going to take a peek into one of the best series within board gaming. That's my hint for what is coming next week. You might have seen it on the table in the last couple of videos. That's not it, but it's a hint as well. So, but yeah, I'm excited to get back on track for 2024. I've been way off with doing videos. I'm planning it all ahead. I'm getting ready. Hopefully it's gonna work out. Bye.